So something to keep in mind is that your internal stakeholders, they will have interacted with lots and lots of different product counterparts. Different companies have different decision-making processes, and within the same company, you may have different product teams, and these different product teams will also have different decision-making processes. And so sometimes your stakeholders just don't know how you specifically are making decisions because they're used to someone else's decision-making framework. So what helps a lot is to share how your specific team makes decisions when it comes to deciding what to do for the internal product that you're building. Share out what are the kinds of work that we typically prioritize, right? Or why do we prioritize this kind of work? And what kinds of work typically winds up getting deprioritized? Another thing that's really helpful in terms of working with internal stakeholders is to help them understand what's easy versus what's hard. Many stakeholders, they aren't usually going to be technically savvy, but they're typically very much domain experts for their area of ownership. So if you're working with someone in operations, they're not necessarily going to know how to build the feature, but they very much understand how operations works. If you're working with someone in marketing or someone in sales, right? And if they have domain expertise for their own areas of ownership. And so what's valuable about that is that they can sit down with you to work through viable alternatives. They know kind of this is the actual problem that we're trying to go solve. And just because I provide you this feature ask doesn't mean that's the only way to go forward. Right? There are other ways in which we can solve this problem. And so they're more than willing to work with you to figure out how do we do something that fits within timelines, something that is still high return on investment, but also gets the pain solved. And then the other thing that's also really helpful is to publish a sequence list of everyone's asks and to help give people knowledge of what kinds of estimates you have in terms of what is the return on investment, kind of what's the benefit versus the risk. For a lot of internal products, only the product manager gets to see that full set of asks, and that makes it very hard for stakeholders to have visibility into, well, what else is it that you're tackling, right? Why is it that my asks aren't making it to the finish line? When we invest in shared information, it reduces resentment that our stakeholders feel, and it reduces the chance of miscommunication. Because of course, we need to keep in mind that as product managers, we have limited resources. Honestly, every product team has limited resources. And we have a lot of asks that we're juggling when we're working on internal products because we're serving all of these very diverse stakeholders within the company. By providing a public prioritization list, that helps stakeholders contextualize why we're saying no when we do say no. And it also gives them levers to understand, well, what are the kinds of things that you're saying yes to? Why are you saying yes to those things? Right? And it makes it very clear that you're not playing favorites.